Okay, so like I was saying earlier, so I think we talked about hand, right? And I gave an example where hand can be used, right? And this will also return false. So both conditions must be true. So if I run this particular code, you will see that it will return false because the condition is not true. Can you see? So if I say true, true,
Yes, sir.
if I put true, true, yeah, obviously this will return true.
Mm, like true plus true.
Yeah. So
Okay.
for all, right? One of the
So
conditions must be true. One of the conditions must be true before it can return a true statement. To return a true statement, one of the conditions can be true. So if I really need, so this is being used basically also in login. So I can say your username can be either your username that you register, or your email address, or your phone number. So either of those three things must be true
no
before
one
it
that
can
is true. Okay.
return true. So for example, your Facebook account, or yeah, I think Facebook accounts, or which are other accounts? Yeah, your Twitter account, your X account also. If you want to log in with
Yes.
your X account, you can either log in with your username or your phone number. I don't know about your email address. Yeah, maybe
Okay.
you put your email address. Yeah. So that particular program, that particular section was done successfully with what? Or with all conditional statement. So we can say that if the username is equals to the username registered or email address or phone number, then
Um,
do you understand? We can now go and
yes,
we
ma'am.
can now go ahead with checking with the password. So we can now compare those things together and we see how it works, right? So that is how this really works. Yeah, so the next one is not. So not is just like a reverse of the boolean. So if you use you are getting true earlier, so if you use not, it's going to be false. If you are getting false, if you use not, it's going to be what? True. So all these things I think are very, very important. So if I run this particular code, you see, can you enter club? True. Can relax? True. Because one is true, is weekend, false, is holiday, true. And truly, students are in holiday, of course. Maybe in the next 1 or 2 days, everybody will go back to their school. They are still in holiday, right? It's true, right? So, weekend, yeah, false. But some people are doing thank God it's Friday, but it's still false, right? But I think it makes sense. Is it raining? False, it's not raining. It might be raining there, but it's not raining at the moment there. So it's false, right? So if I say it's not raining and I use not to get this done, so you will see that is the result was false initially, but with this not, that's turned to true. So I think this is also very easy. Then we move to conditional statement. So um, what do you mean by conditions? What do you really mean by conditions? Conditional. Conditional statement. So what do you mean by conditional statement? So conditional statement allows our program to make decisions. So we really want to make decisions. Like, do I really want to travel to Abuja tomorrow? Yes, I want to travel to Abuja. How do I make that decision? So, so many things would really warrant or make up those decisions that you really want to make. Right? So perhaps what you want to do, when you need to get there, how you want to get there. So those conditions, those things are very, very pertinent or important to your making decisions, right? So back to programming language. So if you really want to make those type of conditions while writing programming languages, you need to like understand what you need to do and how you want to do them, right? So basically, if you are doing them, we use an if, else, and else if conditions to work with these things. All right, so let's start and see how we can declare the conditional statement, right? Using if statement. So we always start with
Mm.
if statement, right? So, and we're going to start with if, we've declared a variable called
I
score
cannot see.
to be a number. Can you see my screen? Can you hear me?
I cannot see clearly. It's already on the left side.
Left side. I don't get. Okay, let me make it bigger.
The screen, I think it's zoomed.
Should I make it smaller? Is it better?
Okay, I can see.
Is it better?
Mm-mm, mm-mm. It has gone up.
Gone up. Okay, fine. How about this?
Then it's to the left than to the right.
I don't understand left and right.
Oh no, screen. See left. Báwo ni fẹ́ ṣàlàyé báyìí? I can't see the items on the left. Yes.
Better? Better, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. So I know we've declared a variable called score. So we can just say if score, right, is greater than or equals to 90, right? Then we can
Yes,
now
sir.
say, so we declare variable basically. So how do you declare a variable? We've already declared our variable, right? So basically, with what we've just done right now, so these are our score must be in a parenthesis. So we have something that we need to put there. We need to put it in the parenthesis where I'm going to have score here. So this is how to declare an if statement, right? So this is how to declare it very well. Right? So we're going to have an if statement with all this. So basically, this will not be here. This will be something like this. So the conditions we want to put there is going to be something like this. So how do we declare? Let me tell you here again. So we're going to have something like this. And if the name of the variable, right? So it's going to be the name of the variable with the condition, right? The name of the variable, right? With, let me say, plus condition, right? Then the then is now talking about what we intend doing, right? So once this thing is done, how do we execute the code? How do you execute the code, right? Code to be executed if the conditions is true. So basically, the first condition is always be what? True. So we are saying if this particular condition is true, console.log execute this to be say grade equals to A, right? But we can see that our score is going to be is going to show empty score. So if I run this particular code, so what we are going to have here is going to be an empty statement, right? So it's even showing an error of which line? What line is this? What line is this? JavaScript
Let's
fights.
check it again.
Line what? Huh?
Is that it?
So it's even giving an unexpected error token, blah, 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 from where to where, from where. Okay, okay. So we are done with this particular first one, right? So, and I think it's important for us to know that once we are done with this, then the next thing is because it's going to show an empty string, the condition is not true, for example, for obvious reason, it's not true. It's going to show an empty string, so we can have an else statement. An else statement, with an else statement, with an else statement, we'll just have this particular console done. So we just give it something else. So by saying this will be equals to this, then we have the grade can be fail or grade B or something like that. So let's run this and let's see how. this will work. I don't expect it to have, yeah, so it works. So it's showing grade B. And why is it showing grade B? It's showing grade B because this is less than 90.
It's
Do you
less than
understand?
19.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
is less than 90. And we can even, so if you now have more than one conditions, assuming we have more than one conditions, I want to get for grade A, for grade B, for grade C, for grade D to F, right? Aha. So there that's
Else if
else if comes into play.
elif.
There are elif in Python.
Okay.
Yeah, is else if, yeah.
Hmm. I remember one more thing from Python. Wow.
What did you say?
I said I remember one more thing from Python. Wow.
How do you mean?
Mm-hmm. I can hardly remember anything from Python.
Uh, okay, no problem. So yeah, you can see what this gives. So we can have for 70, we can have for C. So if you have more than one conditions, right? So this gives you whatever thing you want to have. So if the score is now really say 30, so let's run and let's see what this will give us. So the grade will definitely be F, right? So because it's less than all these things. So imagine I have a 70 or a 75. Imagine I have a 75. A 75 will definitely give me 80
I see.
because it's
Mhm.
now up to 80, you know. So, and this is what conditional statement entails, right? For the conditional statement, we've been able to do this, right? And I believe we can easily, how do I put it now? We can easily see why all these things are very, very important, right? So for the conditional statements, we've done this. So for switch, there's another one called switch.
Hmm.
Apart from the if else statement, we have another one called switch. So what do we really mean by switch?
Are we still going to treat them one after the other? After, like, apart from the fact that we're running through them now,
Are we still going to do what?
like treat them in details,
In details, right? Details. What do you mean by details again?
like using them in codes and
Absolutely,
all.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. This is just like a way of showing us how it is being used, right? So,
Okay.
at the end of the day, we should be able to use this for projects, right? So we should have projects we need to do. Yeah, for obvious reasons, we are going to do project, but we need to know how to apply all these things. We need to know what if is, what else if is, when do we use switch, when do we use all these things, right? Because it's situations, different situations comes, arises, and it gives different things, right? And we should know when to use a certain syntax or a certain keyword because we've learnt it, we understood how it is being used. Then during that particular project um, discussion, so it will be well understood, right? So we are still
That's
going to
okay.
use them very well. We are still going to use them very well. Right. So we won't just stop there. We'll use them very well. So next is switch, and I think maybe we should stop here. So switch basically is used to check one value against many fixed options, right? So I have a value. So for example, let's declare um, a day to be equals to 3. And we use switch. Don't forget, when do we use switch? Check. We use switch to check one value against many what?
Against many fixed option.
Aha. So let's check. So for case one, so how do we really declare switch? So we declare switch using the particular switch itself. Then inside it, just the way we normally use if, we now impute that particular variable. So most of the time, this variable can also, we are add coding variables, right? So as time goes on, we'll see that our variable will be dynamic. So we'll be bringing variable from the database, bringing variable from maybe an input function, bringing variable from maybe we can declare this time around a prompt function where the variable the user brings in is what we are going to use to do her coding. So it's going to be more interactive for users to see. Are you getting what I'm saying? So if I can say, okay, bring in your date, bring in a number, and I'm going to tell you blah, 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 blah. So we just do some little calculations at the back end and it pops up. But of course, it's not going to be an hard coded date. It's going to be a date the user brings in, and that will be more interesting and more user friendly. Yeah, more user friendly. So for case one, we can say console.log to be equals to, can just say console.log to be equals to Monday, right? Then it breaks. So I can do case two, case three, case four. Then the last case will be default. So I can do default. Okay, let's do till Friday and Saturday. Then I do default. So this is the default I'm trying to bring up, right? So I can do default, right? To be now be an invalid date. So basically, it means that I have case three, right? So what this will bring me is going to be Wednesday. So I have a variable, right, that have been locked with many options, right? Do you understand? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir, I'm with you,
I
sir.
have a variable or a value that has been logged with a fixed option. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? So if I have three, so this will give me what? Wednesday.
Wednesday.
So if I run this particular code, block of code right now, if I run this block of code, let's see what this gives me. It's going to give me Wednesday. Can you see? So if I change this to say 8 or 9, so I'm sure I will have something else, an invalid.
Valid day.
So that is how switch comes into play, and that is how it works, right? So I'm going to give you an example or an assignment to work with, right? So we can use this if function to do an ATM withdrawal system. Can you help me out?
Can I help you with what, sir?
I want us to do an example, apply what we've just done in class right now.
Okay.
So we want to I want to do a real live example, real live example using an ATM withdrawal system. Yeah, so can you help me out? So basically, it means that for your ATM, which means you have an automated teller machine with your card, right? So you know how it works is basically you have a variable automatically once you insert your card, it already sets a value, a variable called balance. Do you understand? In your bank account, we already have a balance. So you already sees your balance, right? So it will set that balance to be say, let balance to be equals to 1,000, right? Then withdraw that thing you are pressing, that is a function of that is like an example of prompt, right? Let withdrawal be 200. So if withdrawal is now more than the balance, so let's check. So let's withdrawal be 1,002. So we can now use an if statement. We can say if withdrawal is less than or greater than or less than or equal to balance, right? Then balance will be subtract balance. Yes, we subtract balance from we have assign and subtract from withdrawal amount. We have assign and subtract from withdrawal amount, but this is not what I want to do. I just want to do console.log and we'll move on, right? We can just say here console.log, say withdrawal successful. Withdrawal successful, right? Then you can do this. Then we can now use else. You can just do else here. So where's the last one now? So what's happening here? Okay, maybe this will also show balance, right? This will show balance, else console.log. So else something like this will work. Right. So let me explain. These ones, I don't have intention of bringing this initially. What I have intention is for us to see if this will work very well. So if I say if the withdrawal amount, right, is less than or equals to balance, don't forget once you slot in your card, all these things that we are doing that we do on our day-to-day activities are just programming and we are just things that we do that we should be able to analyze, right? So once immediately you slot in your card into an ATM machine, automatically there is a variable that catches your balance, right? And there is now a prompt function when you type in things. So you just type in the amount you want to collect, you want to withdraw from the bank ATM. So once it works, right? So let's check. If my balance in my ATM card is 1,000 and I'm withdrawing 1,000 to, what am I?
Sufficient food.
What am I? I'm not saying sufficient fund. This is showing an error. So why is it showing error? I'm sure there's something somewhere that I've not really done, right? I think so. So what's the problem? So if this is equals to this, so what's the problem? What's the problem here? Showing that I have a problem. Showing, okay, balance. What happened? I've commented it.
Balance is not defined. It's not defined.
It's not defined.
Ah, I don't understand. I saw.
Balance is not defined by what? Did I say it should show balance? I'm not saying it should show balance now. Okay. Let's run this again. So it definitely show, but for obvious reason, this is less than balance. Withdrawal balance is less than.
Okay, let's.
Okay. Okay. So basically, oh God.